Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Jane. I'm the Managing Director of Catapult Public Relations, and we handle PR and we handle copywriting and we handle content for clients. And we really believe that words matter. And it's using those words in a sort of form of thought leadership that we're going to talk about today. So, what is this elusive phrase, thought leadership? Can you do it? How can I help you do that? Let's have a little think about what it is, first of all. Thought leadership is all about your voice. And you might not think that you have one, but you do. Your voice is your authority, it's your knowledge, it's what you put into your business every day. And thought leadership, when we're talking about that in marketing terms, is about taking that out to an external audience and having your voice heard by other people. And, that can build trust and respect in whatever niche you're working in, whether, whatever sector, whatever trade, whatever your thing is, we can help you build thought leadership in it. So why does this matter? Number one, you have competitors wherever you look. It doesn't matter what sector you're in, you can't tell me that's not the case. So you need to differentiate yourself from those competitors. And one great way to do that is to show your customers that you have got more authority than your competitors have got, that you know more, that you have more opinions, and that you are somebody that they can trust because you really know your stuff. Number two, you need to be seen as credible and you need to position yourself as somebody that can be taken seriously. Having some good thought leadership can really help you do that. Number three, you can increase your brand value through thought leadership because when you disseminate that thought leadership and say whatever it is to the people you want to talk to, you will actually be helping someone somewhere by providing them with some sort of advice or guidance that they can take on board. So your brand instantly becomes more valuable to them. Number four, and it's a point that I'd like to make about PR in general. Think of PR in a way that every time you do something that goes out there that generates goodwill or positivity, you are putting a credit in your bank. And PR does that every single time that you appear somewhere or somebody reads something positive about you. What's the point of that? Well, because, who knows what's around a corner? You could have some sort of crisis. You might have to call on those credits in your bank. And if you haven't got any because you haven't done any PR or generated any goodwill, what are you going to call upon? So those things in your bank can be really useful for you because they can help you get you out of a hole with your customers and the people that you want to carry on doing business with. Number five, when you become a thought leader, you amplify your voice, your internal voice, the one that you use with your staff and your colleagues every day. And we all have one. But when you engage in thought leadership through PR, you take that voice out to a whole new audience. You can appear in traditional media, generating column inches that if you were buying that advertising space, it would be a lot of money to buy. You could be getting sound bites on radio. You could even be appearing on TV with your thought leadership. It's kind of money can't buy publicity for you if you can get your thought leadership right. And to be honest, it's about becoming an influencer on channels far beyond Instagram. We talk about, influencers on Instagram, but there are influencers in all types of media. But that influence is being generated through thought leadership. Number six, when you start getting good at thought leadership, you start to benefit from what I call the repeat buy process. And this is where a media journalist has recognized that you are a really useful contact for them. And so every time they want to comment on something about something that they're writing that you can help with, they will come to you. You become their go to media person. And that means that you are just generating more and more exposure for yourself because you have proved yourself to be such a good thought leader. Number seven, believe it or not, you can actually become more attractive to your staff if you become a good thought leader. Staff want to work for somebody who can prove themselves to be a mover and shaker in the industry. And that's what thought leadership does. So it can help with your talent recruitment as well. So how do you become a thought leader? Well, number one, you clearly need to know your stuff. Number two, you need to be confident enough to want to share that stuff. And number three, you want to be willing to share that because, it's your nuggets, it's your thought leadership. You're going to have to put it out there. So even your competitors are going to hear it. They'll probably be furious about the fact that you've got exposure for it, but you have to be willing to take that step. What is truly vital in this whole process is that your voice does not dry up. You cannot just go out there with one piece of thought leadership and think that is going to be the panacea for everything in your marketing. This has to be a continuous process. You cannot be a one-hit wonder. But luckily, that's not what we're about here at Catapult PR. We don't want our clients to be one-hit wonders. We want a continuous stream of hits out there at the top of the thought leadership hit parade. But not all PR agencies are the same. And that's because a lot of them will say that they do thought leadership, but they will expect you to put the hard miles in producing that piece of thought leadership that they simply then go out and place in the media. That's not how we work. We recognize that our clients are really busy people. And so we take on board the onus of finding those nuggets, those pieces of thought leadership that we can both create and send out to the media by taking a deep dive into their business and seeing what areas of thought leadership we could create for them. Number two, we go way beyond that because we then create brand building campaigns which are packed with ideas, and those ideas in themselves become the generators of the thought leadership. Now, all of that brand building is absolutely strategic, so it's not like we're just plucking things out the air. It's all related back to what the business does. It's all based often on lots of intense research into the sector, so that we know what's going on, what the news is, what the storylines could be. And then the campaign itself is just a massive generator of thought leadership. So the rule here is, well, the mantra that I would actually put out here is that when it comes to thought leadership, form is temporary, but class is permanent. And if you want that class, you need an agency that has the ideas and the ability to create all that thought leadership for you. And please don't pigeonhole thought leadership as just a B2B thing. Yes, it's great to have thought leadership in trade titles, and B2B is the traditional route for thought leadership. But I can point to plenty of examples where we have created thought leadership for our consumer clients, whether that is in the pet industry, whether it's in travel and tourism, or maybe even the retail sector. So don't just think of it as a B2B tactic. This is why we've won so many regional and national awards for B2B campaigns, because thought leadership has been a major component of it. But we've also won B2C campaign awards because of the thought leadership that we have poured in there as well. So now that we've been through this quick trot through thought leadership, are you ready to be a thought leader in your sector? Do you see the benefits? But do you need somebody that's going to be the power behind the throne and actually catapult you and your thought leadership campaign? If the answer to any of those things is yes, then you need to drop me an email. And you can do that by emailing Jane, Jane, at catapultpr.co.uk. And we can discuss things, and I will honestly tell you whether I think that you have a prospect of being a thought leader or not, and whether we could work together. So there's no obligation behind that, but do please get in touch so that we can have a chat. So to sum up, thought leadership can really build your brand, build trust in your brand, gain the respect of your customers and your staff, and be a tool that can generate exposure for you of the kind that you could not afford to pay for if you were looking to do that through advertising. So what's not to love about thought leadership? I hope I've convinced you to give it a go, whether you try to do that yourself or you come to me and get help with doing that. Until I come to you with the next video, look after yourself and take good care of yourself, as I say on my podcast, whether you are in Malibu or Morecambe.